Welcome to Wisdom to Freedom, the podcast that explores the profound wisdom of the greatest spiritual masters and philosophers throughout history. Today, we delve into the nature of judgment, how it manifests within us, and how we can transcend it. Throughout the ages, philosophers from both Western and Eastern traditions have contemplated the human inclination to judge. Let us begin by examining their insights and practical guidance. From the Stoics, we learn that judgment arises from our own internal perceptions and opinions. It is not the external events or people themselves that cause us to judge, but rather our interpretations and beliefs about them. The Stoics invite us to recognize that our judgments often stem from our own insecurities, fears, and desires. True wisdom lies in focusing on our own personal growth rather than worrying about the judgments of others. Turning our gaze to Buddhism, we find the concept of non-judgmental awareness or mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, we become aware of our thoughts, emotions, and judgments without attaching ourselves to them. We observe their impermanent nature and their roots in our own conditioning. Through mindfulness, we can cultivate empathy, compassion, and understanding towards ourselves and others. Immanuel Kant's moral philosophy reminds us of the importance of treating others as ends in themselves rather than means to our own ends. Judging others based on superficial qualities or preconceived notions violates our moral duty. Kant encourages us to base our moral judgments on universal principles that respect the inherent dignity and worth of every individual. Taoism offers the concept of Wu Wei, teaching us to let go of judgment and control, and instead align ourselves with the natural flow of existence. By surrendering our judgments and yielding to the Tao, we can cultivate a harmonious and spontaneous way of being. But why we are so prone to judge and how judgments may serve or sabotage us. One reason we are prone to judge is rooted in our evolutionary biology. Our brains have evolved to quickly categorize and assess situations and people for survival purposes. This instinctual judgment allowed our ancestors to make split-second decisions in dangerous situations. However, in modern times, this tendency to judge can lead to snap judgments and biases, preventing us from truly understanding and connecting with others. Another reason we judge is due to societal conditioning. We are bombarded with societal norms, cultural expectations, and media influences that shape our beliefs and judgments. These influences can create unconscious biases and stereotypes that hinder our ability to see others as they truly are. Judgments can serve us by providing a sense of safety and control. By categorizing and labeling people or situations, we create a sense of familiarity and predictability. This can provide a temporary sense of comfort and security. However, these judgments can also limit our understanding, prevent personal growth, and hinder our ability to form genuine connections with others. On the other hand, judgments can also sabotage us by creating divisions and fostering negativity. When we judge others, we reinforce a sense of separation and superiority, leading to conflict, prejudice, and discrimination. Additionally, our judgments can also turn inward, leading to self-criticism, low self-esteem, and a constant need for validation from others. Why it is not wise to judge prematurely or too harshly. Here are a few key points. 1. Lack of complete information. When we judge someone, we are making assumptions about their character, motives, or actions based on limited information or a single perspective. It's important to recognize that we may not have the full context or understanding of someone's circumstances or experiences. By withholding judgment, we allow room for empathy, understanding, and the possibility of learning more about the person before forming an opinion. 2. Individual differences and complexity. Every person is unique, with their own set of experiences, beliefs, and values. Judging someone based on our own standards or expectations fails to acknowledge the complexity of human nature. People's actions and choices are often influenced by a variety of factors, including their upbringing, cultural background, personal struggles, and external circumstances. Taking the time to understand these factors can lead to more compassionate and nuanced perspectives. 3. Growth and change. People are capable of growth and change over time. By judging someone based on their past actions or behaviors, we might overlook the potential for personal development and transformation. It is more constructive to provide support, guidance, and understanding, which can help individuals learn from their mistakes and make positive changes. 4. Impact on relationships and society. Harsh and premature judgments can strain relationships and create barriers between individuals or groups. It can perpetuate stereotypes, biases, and discrimination. Practicing empathy and suspending judgment allows for healthier and more open communication, fostering understanding and cooperation among people. 5. It's important to note that there are situations where forming judgments is necessary, such as when making decisions about personal safety or evaluating certain behaviors. However, it's generally beneficial to approach judgment with caution, empathy, and a willingness to seek more information before drawing conclusions. When we judge others, it can also reflect on our own biases, insecurities, or preconceived notions. Taking a step back and examining our own tendency to judge can be an opportunity for self-growth and introspection. It allows us to challenge our assumptions and cultivate a more compassionate and empathetic mindset. Cultivating a mindset of non-judgment takes time and practice. Here are some daily practices that can help us judge less of others and ourselves. 1. Mindfulness. Engage in daily mindfulness meditation or mindfulness exercises to develop awareness of your thoughts and emotions. Mindfulness helps you observe your judgments without getting caught up in them. 2. Practice empathy. Put yourself in other people's shoes and try to understand their perspectives, experiences, and challenges. Practicing empathy helps foster understanding and reduces the tendency to judge others. 3. Challenge assumptions. Be aware of your own biases and preconceptions. When you catch yourself making assumptions or passing judgment, question the validity of those judgments and consider alternative viewpoints. 4. Cultivate self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Acknowledge that making mistakes and having flaws is part of being human. Practice self-compassion by speaking to yourself in a supportive and encouraging manner. 5. Practice gratitude. Cultivate a daily gratitude practice by reflecting on things you're grateful for. This helps shift your focus from judgment to appreciation and contentment. 6. Seek to understand. Instead of jumping to conclusions or making snap judgments, make an effort to understand the reasons behind people's actions, behaviors, or decisions. Ask questions and engage in open-minded conversations. 7. Cultivate a non-judgmental mindset. Remind yourself regularly that everyone is entitled to their own opinions, beliefs, and choices. Adopt an attitude of acceptance and respect towards others, even if you disagree with them. 8. Surround yourself with positive influences. Spend time with people who are non-judgmental and accepting. Surrounding yourself with positive influences can help reinforce a non-judgmental mindset. By cultivating self-awareness, practicing empathy and compassion, engaging in mindfulness meditation, challenging our assumptions, cultivating gratitude, and practicing self-compassion, we can gradually free ourselves from the grip of judgment and cultivate a more compassionate and enlightened way of being. Transcending judgment is an ongoing process that requires patience, self-reflection, and constant practice. It is not about eradicating all judgment, but rather cultivating a compassionate and discerning mindset. By incorporating these philosophies and practical techniques into our life, we can gradually transcend judgment and embrace a more compassionate and enlightened way of being. Thank you for joining us today. We hope these insights and practices bring you closer to a life of greater understanding, empathy, and transcendence of judgment. Until next time, may you walk the path of enlightenment with an open heart and a compassionate mind.